Hi, did you know that several records were broken at Qatar 2022? You didn't know? My name is Elitete Domokpo and you're watching the Field of Play. When we come back, I'll tell you all about it. Stay tuned. Now, we all know that Argentina won the cup, right? By beating France on penalties 4-2. They played a 3-3 draw and then they went to penalty and Argentina eventually won. Now, this World Cup broke all traditional records, being the first World Cup to be held in the winter. Traditionally, all World Cups were held in summer, when the weather is conducive for footballers to play, because the weather is is a bit cool, a bit warm at the same time. But in winter, it's very difficult to play ball in the winter. So this is the first time the World Cup has been hosted in the winter season. This was also one of the most expensive global sports events ever in the history of all sports. This event was the most expensive. So join me as we look at some of the records that were broken at Qatar 2022. We look at total budget for about 4 of the World Cups that has been hosted. We start with Germany 2006. Now in Germany 2006, $4.3 billion was spent on the World Cup. This was hosted by Germany in 2006. And in South Africa 2010, a total of $10.6 billion was spent. So you can see from 4.3 to 10.6. It kept on going up. Then in Brazil 2014, a whopping $15 billion was spent. It's not million, no, billion. Billion. No be small money. So in Russia 2018, $11.6 billion was spent. So we have about $4 billion drop in expenditure. You know, the Russians are very prudent with funds and prudent in managing their money. Then we come to Qatar 2022. A record-breaking $220 billion was spent. FIFA allocated $440 billion for the entire World Cup. All the stadiums, all the beautiful stadiums put up by Qatar, they spent $6.5 billion to put out the stadium. The 95 whatever container, the one made with the container, all these beautiful stadiums, this was how much was spent on them. And then in total, $220 billion spent by Qatar entirely in organizing this event. So we are going to look at the number of goals that were scored at Qatar 2022, because you know football is all about goals. If you don't score goals, you don't win the game. So we are looking at the highest number of goals that has been scored in this World Cup. Now in Germany 2006, we had a total number of 147 goals scored. Then in South Africa 2010, we had a total number of 143 goals scored. Then we come to Brazil 2014. A total number of 171 goals were scored. Then in Russia 2018, a total of 169 goals were scored. Then in Qatar 2022, a total number of 172 goals scored at the tournament, just 1 goal more than the goal scored in Brazil 2014, which was 171. So there you have it for the total number of goals scored at this World Cup, making it the highest so far in the history of the World Cup. So we've looked at the highest number of goals scored at the tournament so far. Now let's also look at the countries that scored the highest number of goals at the tournament, or highest scoring teams at the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. So we start with Netherlands, who scored a total number of 10 goals in the entire competition. Then we look at Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. They scored a total number of 12 goals at the competition. This is followed by England, who scored 13 goals at the competition. Then we have Argentina scoring 15 goals at the competition, and topping it up, we have France scoring 16 good goals at the competition. So we know Mbappe scored 8 out of those goals in that competition. And that guy is something else. So if we've looked at the total number of goals that were scored, we also have to look at the people that were banging in the goals at Qatar 2022. So starting from the bottom, we have what? Richarlison of Brazil with 3 goals. 3 brilliant goals. Olivier Giroud of France, who is tied with Julian Alvarez of Argentina. Both of them have what? 4 goals. Then we also look at what? Lionel Messi scoring what? 7 goals. And Kylian Mbappe topping the goal king with 8 goals. So we look at records created at this World Cup. Now, Lionel Messi became the top goal scorer for Argentina at this World Cup. In the history of Argentina, he's the one that has scored the most goals for Argentina. Cristiano Ronaldo of Portugal also became the first man in history to have scored in 5 World Cups. Morocco became the first African Arab nation to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup. After that one that we all know, we all made a big noise about that, right? Stephanie Frappart became the first female or first woman to officiate men's football at the World Cup. Keplan Devan de Lima Ferreira, popularly known as Pepe, became the second oldest player to have scored a goal at the World Cup. Now, the oldest player at the World Cup is what? Alfredo Talavera of Mexico. The German player Youssoufa Moukoko became the youngest player to play in the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez won the youngest best player at the World Cup, and Emiliano Martinez also became the Golden Glove winner for the World Cup, with Messi winning the Golden Ball of the World Cup and Kylian Mbappe winning the Golden Boots for the World Cup. The FIFA World Cup is the biggest sporting event on our planet, and in this year the new record was made as the most viewed global sporting event, or most viewed sporting event globally. Now, I know the Super Bowl of America claim to have the biggest event and biggest viewership and everything, but in comparison to the FIFA World Cup, they are babies. They are babies. If you look at the numbers, the highest number of views ever recorded at the Super Bowl was 103.4 million viewers. Now, in comparison to the FIFA World Cup, 4 billion people watched the World Cup. 4 billion. I mean, can you imagine? It is the biggest sporting event in the history of the world, biggest sporting event on the planet Earth. It offers brands or sponsors most eyeballs. So if you're a sponsor and you put your product on the FIFA World Cup, you are guaranteed that 4 billion people are going to see your product. No wonder a lot of people rush in to sponsor the FIFA World Cup. The viewing numbers to commercial value, FIFA World Cup has no equal. So we are all now gearing up for Canada, America, Mexico in 2026. 2026. Oh God, please. Grant me the opportunity to go and watch some with my eye. I prophesy that 2026, I'm also going to watch the World Cup song, Fili Gadoji, with my eye. It's one of the most beautiful events. If you're a football-loving person, it is something that you must put on your bucket list. If you have the opportunity, you must certainly go watch it. Football is a game of passion that brings people all together, brings millions and billions of people together. I mean, people might not speak the same languages across the globe, across the continents, across the countries, but when it comes to football, we all understand the rules, we all understand the passion. We have the same emotions, we feel the same pains, we feel the same victory when our teams win, we feel the same sorrow and sadness when our teams lose. And the joy it brings to the various nations who win. So for instance, Argentina, you can imagine, I'll show you the pictures, millions of people gathered celebrating, just 11 people on the pitch. Look at the number of joy they bring to people all over the world. Canada America, Mexico there. We all have to be there. We all have to make it a point to be there. God, please help us get there. We are going to get there. Inshallah, we shall get there. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube page, Fill the Play. Give me a comment. Anything you want me to talk about, anything you want me to look about, just give me a comment. I'll reply to your comment. And just subscribe to my page so that I can be able to do this and bring you more video, bring you more details, bring you more analysis of the game. My name is Elite Tedomako, and you've been watching the Field of Play. See you again next time.